Good morning, children. Let us start a new chapter, Sustainable Management of Natural Resources. Natural resources. Natural resources are the resources available in the nature like air, water, sunlight, soil, mineral, forest, wildlife, etc. Natural resources are of two main types. They are renewable and non-renewable natural resources. First, renewable natural resources. These are the resources which can be replenished in a short period of time, like air, water, sunlight, forests, etc. Non-renewable natural resources, those resources which cannot be replenished in a short span of time, like minerals, example coal, petroleum, natural gas, metals, etc., because they take millions of years to form. Human activities produce a lot of waste material which are thrown away in the environment. These waste cause pollution of natural resources like air, water, and soil pollution. Ganga Action Plan. Ganga Action Plan or GAP was a program launched by Rajiv Gandhi in 1986 in order to reduce the pollution load on the river Ganga. Why river Ganga get polluted? Due to human waste. Domestic uses like bathing, laundry and public defecation. Second is industrial waste. Dumping of untreated waste into river Ganga was a second reason for pollution. Third is religious events. During festival seasons, people bath in Ganga to clean themselves from their sins. A Hindu belief is that dropping the ashes of cremated body at Banaras in the Ganga would give moksha or liberation to the jiva or soul. These are some of the natural resources: water, sand, mineral, bird, animals, metal, coal, forest, etc. The 5 R's to save the environment are refuse, reduce, reuse, repurpose and recycle. Let us see one by one. Refuse. Say no to things which people offer you that you don't need. Refuse to buy products that can harm you and environment. No to single-use plastic carrying bags. Second is reduce, means using less of natural resources and avoiding wastage of natural resources. Example, save electricity, don't waste food and water, save water from leaky tanks and taps. Third is reuse, means using things again and again, like the plastic bottles in which we buy jams, pickle, etc. can again be used to store things in the kitchen. Fourth is repurpose. When a product can no more be used for the original purpose, think carefully and use it for other purpose. Example, cracked crockery or cup with broken handles can be used for the small plants or feeding birds, etc. Now, recycle means the paper, material like paper, plastic, glass, metals, etc. can be used for making things and that can again be used for making new thing. Instead of synthesizing or extracting newspaper, plastic, glass or metals, it needs segregation of waste first. Need for management of natural resources. All things we use and consume are obtained from natural resources, and due to increase in population, industrialization and urbanization, the demand for natural resources is increasing and their availability is limited. So there is a need for proper management of natural resources. So how we can do the management of natural resources? First, judicious use of natural resources and avoiding wastage of natural resources. Second, long-term planning for the use of natural resources so that it lasts not only for the present but also for the future generation. This is known as sustainable development. Third is the exploitation of natural resources should not be for the benefit of a few people but should be distributed equally for all. And fourth, while extracting and using natural resources, we should also plan for the safe disposal of waste and avoid the pollution so that no damage is caused to the environment. Stakeholders of the forest. People who are associated with forest directly or indirectly are known as stakeholders of the forest. Like people living in or around forests depend on forest for their livelihood. Industrialists who use the raw material from forests for manufacturing paper, medicines, furniture, tendu leaves for BD, etc. They are also stakeholders. Third is Forest Department of the government who owns the forest and control the resources from the forest. And fourth is Nature and Wildlife Organization who want to conserve and preserve forests. Forest. Importance of forest. Forest help to preserve biodiversity. Forests are natural habitat of plant and animals. Forests provide timber, wood, fuel, medicines, fodder, etc. Forests help to maintain ecological balance. Forests help to control climate and rainfall. Forests help to prevent soil erosion and control floods. And forests help to maintain the oxygen and carbon dioxide balance in the nature. Forests are biodiversity hotspots. Biodiversity measured by number of species found there and range of different life forms present. And conservation means preserve the biodiversity we have inherited. Loss of biodiversity may lead to loss of ecological stability also. Conservation of forest. How to conserve forest? First is afforestation, that is planting of more trees. Second, preventing or reducing deforestation. We should not cut the trees at rapid rate. Third, preventing overgrazing by the cattle. And fourth, by setting up wildlife sanctuaries, national park, biosphere reserve, etc. And fifth, undertaking social forestry programs like Van Mahotsav, Chipko movement for planting and protecting trees on a large scale. Importance of wildlife. Wildlife helps to preserve biodiversity. Wildlife help to maintain food chains and food web. We get useful products from wildlife like food, medicines, leather, bones, honey, lac, etc. Conservation of wildlife. First, preserving the natural habitat of animals, or habitat means place of living. Second, banning poaching of the animals. Third, protecting endangered species of animals. And fourth, setting up of wildlife sanctuaries, national park, biosphere reserves, etc. Local people worked traditionally for conserving the forest. In 1731, Amrita Devi, a Vishnoi woman who along with more than 363 other Vishnois died for the protection of khejri trees near Jodhpur in Rajasthan. So Indian government has declared the Amrita Devi Vishnoi National Award for Wildlife Conservation who work in this field. Prejudice against the traditional use of forest area has no basis. One example is Himalayan National Park incident. Alpine meadows grazed by sheep in summer. This practice was put to an end when National Park was formed, and this leads to grass grows very tall and falls over, preventing fresh growth. Chipko Andolan, Hug the Trees movement. Chipko movement started in the early 1970s in the Garhwal Himalayas of Uttarakhand, when a group of peasant women in Raini village acted to prevent the cutting of trees and reclaim their traditional forest rights that were threatened by the contractor system of the State Forest Department. People's participation in the management of the forest. Far-seeing forest officer A.K. Banerjee in the Arabari forest range in Mednapur district, Mr. Banerjee involved the villagers in the protection of 1,272 hectares of badly degraded sal forest. In return for help in protection, villagers were allowed fuel, wood and fodder collection on payment of a nominal fee and given employment in both silviculture and harvesting operations. 25% of the final harvest was given to the village community. The result was active and willing participation of the local community. The sal forest of Arabari underwent a remarkable recovery by 1983. A previously worthless forest was valued rupees 12.5 crores.